Big day today. It's the final video of these WoW stories and memories series. Yay! That means that the final story that I've been slowly building up details to the past couple of weeks will probably start making a lot more sense now. So today we're talking about the time I destroyed a whole server, at least according to what other people are saying. To jump right into it, they believed that I single-handedly, as in myself only, killed an entire server with 400 people on it. As in that I made the majority of them leave. It's funny because it's partly true, but more onto that later. So what happened, you may wonder? As I mentioned before, I was a game master on a private server called True WoW, and I was at the same time also in a guild called Inquisition. And we had our main competitor, if that's the right term for it, the guild Divinity on Alliance. On Horde side there was Hellraisers, but they don't really play too much part into this, so whatever. One day I was checking out Divinity's progression, remember the other Alliance guild that were competitors to us, on Lich King 25 Heroic. I knew already beforehand that they were abusing. It was kind of a known thing in the so-called Illuminati group of the server. And I say Illuminati because they basically knew things like secrets. I know it sounds very silly, but that's kind of how it was. So I went to spectate their progression on Lich King and I found something and I screenshotted it. No big deal. I went on the server's forums and I started typing a private report or document or whatever you want to call it, notifying other staff members of what happened. I never really wanted to go without proof, but I had screenshots at least. Notice that I also said private report, as this was only shown to the staff team of the server, not anyone else. So what was the screenshot? The screenshot was this. In short words, they were using Hand of Protection in order to not get their healers grabbed by Valkyrs, potentially also skipping some Valkyrs. Why is this a big deal, you ask? You see, Valkyrs weren't always killed by the raid. Long time ago on the core which most private servers use, Valkyrs were very much bugged and you could just simply CC them and they would drop the player after a while. People on a 20% buff simply weren't used to killing the Valkyrs. Also the fact that certain CC abilities which should have worked on Valkyrs like movement debuffs didn't work properly on them, making them unkillable at the time. This is not the case anymore as it got fixed and our guild Inquisition managed to get through the phase eventually by killing off Valkyrs and planned CC stuns basically. So what's the big deal here? The big deal here is that they were using exploits in order to kill the boss, more or less. Also in the picture shown, one of the healers that got HOP'd was one of the developers of True WoW, funnily enough. So I wrote in my topic in the private section, and I must admit, I did say stuff like we should punish them and I suggested punishments. But notice that it was all I did. I didn't actually punish the guild, and I didn't even want it to be on my hands because I knew how it would turn out to be. They would be saying, oh, he banned us because he's in another guild that is a competitor to us. And not because we did something wrong, oh. You know, like irrational people would usually talk. And what do you think happened? Someone told another person who probably told multiple people, and boom, it was a known thing. An official staff member of the server wants to ban an entire guild, or well, at least a few raiders who participated in the raid. You have to understand, from my point of view, I thought I was doing the right thing as a game master by creating that topic in a private forum. Whether they got banned or not, I thought I still did my duty reporting the issue further to my superiors. But I suppose words speak louder than action sometimes, and this was when it all started to go downhill for me. And essentially also for the server. The leader of this guild called Divinity, he was smart though. He didn't harass me for what I did or anything like that. Instead, he played what any other chess player would do. And I have to give it to him. He tried, but he failed. He announced that a few months later that his guild Divinity would move to another server, and they did. Funnily enough, because he was the type of guild leader who wanted nothing but loyalty from his guild members.
I felt that yes, this guy has the potential and this guy has the point of being loyal.
He didn't really get any back. Not many people followed him to the new server. I mean, most of them did because they got a free level 80 on that new server, but they barely played. Most of them either quit fully or kept on playing on our server, but now instead with our guild Inquisition. This was noticeable though. Out of 400 people, maybe in total 25 quit WoW, and maybe 10 moved permanently to the other server. Also know that around the same time this happened, Arnis, the guy I told you a few weeks ago, did screw up the another guild's raid, as I also mentioned. And I wouldn't say that it made people leave directly, but eventually they also left. I mean, who wouldn't when you know that the guy who did something like screwing up your raid intentionally and still isn't banned? Side note, the same guy, Arnis, also harassed me many times in public chats that I have enough evidence to actually tweet hashtag me too. And no, on True WoW you are very much allowed to insult staff members, in comparison to other private servers where they will completely permaban you. Yeah, you know who you are. Furthermore, you have to understand that this was an ongoing thing for months. Not everything happened at the same time, at the same date, of course. And knowing that the server had the exact same content for years, people will eventually get bored and either stop playing WoW fully or just simply jump onto another server. Very few people will actually be able to farm the same content over and over again. I personally loved it. Being lazy and do my favorite raids over and over again because I knew the tactics, that was wonderful for me. But not everyone wants to do that, and that's understandable. So what I'm trying to say is that it's bound to happen that the population will get lower and lower as people get more bored and bored. If they don't quit by boredom, they will definitely try to look for reasons to quit, whether they know it or not. If they aren't sticking around for the content's sake and they don't have the need of socializing with their friends on the server, they will leave and try to find something they enjoy more. But all this in mind, this doesn't stop people from thinking that one guy, in this case me, was able to single-handedly destroy an entire server. Honestly, in the end, this doesn't actually bother me, because I mean, that's a freaking cool achievement if people legit think or say that I killed an entire server. I mean, if you do that, then nothing can stop you. So that was the story. As I mentioned at the beginning, this was the last video of this series, and if you enjoyed it, feel free to let me know. If you got any other suggestions of what you would like to see me do on Fridays now, since I have them free now, feel free to tell me as well, otherwise I'll just come up with something next week. As always, cheers and have a wonderful weekend.